1 mile away. And we'd like to introduce our illustrious town supervisor for Avon. The Honorable Rich Schaefer is here to talk to us a little bit about the town and the work that he's doing. And take it away, Rich.
Thanks, Adrian, and thank you. If we had anything to do with planning this, it would have been up the block at the golf course.
Thank you.
Catered, right? Appropriate?
Right.
So we're going to speak to the chairman about that when he gets here, right?
He's not a true Babylonian.
Not a true Babylonian, but this is another highlight of Babylon here, the Bergen Point Sewer Plan. But obviously, as you as Planning Commission members know how important this is, because since we're talking constantly about sewers, and the need for sewers, and you in your various individual capacities as well as collectively as a group have been talking about the importance of sewering additional areas in the county. And just, I digress a second, I was excited to be part of the group that went in with the county executive, Anna Thronholz, the supervisor from Southampton Town, who was also our chair of our Supervisors Association, to talk to the governor and his staff about Steve Ballone's creative idea to utilize and pretty much take advantage of what Sandy money is about. Sandy money is about emergency response, about getting people back in their homes, infrastructure improvements, and long-term resiliency. Steve's come up with a great idea on how to deal with what we think has had some impact of why Sandy was so impactful on the South Shore, because of what nitrogen and nitrogen levels have done to the bay, and eliminating the protection that's supposed to be there as part of nature. So really talking about sewer in Babylon and Deer Park along the Carls River, or the Connecticut River, or Master Shirley along the Forge River is very exciting. And so this place serves that, and of course fixing the outfall pipe, which is incredibly important. We see what not having an ocean outfall pipe can do just to the west of us and what's going on in Bay Park.
If anybody wants a field trip, let me know.
Arrange for
Yes.
that. So I digress for a moment, but it's good that you're here, and I'm glad that you're in Babylon. I want to welcome you and just talk to you a little bit real quick, and then answer any questions that you might have about some of the exciting things going on here. And Adrian referenced that I have going. It's really a team effort here, and it's a continuation of from what we tried to start back when I was supervisor during the 90s. And I say that seems so far and long ago, to what Steve accomplished and his team accomplished here during the 2000s, and now back again as a town supervisor with some of the same people in place who started with me back in the 90s. And you've seen a real progression of exciting projects and opportunities that we have going on here. You just have to drive around and take a look at what everyone's talking about, transit-oriented development, and the Wyandanch Rising project, which is reality, actually taking place. And if you get a chance, drive up Straight Path and you can take a look at what Russ Albanese and his group are doing at the Wyandanch train station. That thing is moving in lightning speed in terms of the actual construction, as well as we're now out to bid on the parking garage through the MTA, as well as what the new train station is going to look like, all to be completed sometime during calendar year 2015. Mr. Chairman, thank you, Mr. Supervisor.
I apologize for being so late.
No, we hope everything's okay.
As well, thank you.
But the new train station, the new public plaza that's going to be built around the 190 residential units, as well as 45,000 square feet of retail space, a total transformation of one of the most economically distressed hamlets on Long Island, not just in Suffolk County, but on Long Island. And so there's a new sense of energy there. We opened up a brand new spray park there last year, which is part of this whole operation and kind of development. The whole goal was to make it a destination point. So you've got a giant spray park 3 times the size of any spray park on Long Island. You can see it from space. Not that I've been in space, but I'm told you can see it from space. We're building the botanical garden that's going to be the second showpiece of this park. And this park is literally within a block of the Wyandanch Rising development at the train station. So if you have an opportunity, take a look at it, and I could even have Jonathan Keys, who's our Director of Downtown Revitalization, come in and talk particulars to you about it. Spinning off of that is both two projects, Copeg, the hamlet of Copeg, and East Farmingdale. Let me preface it by saying, one of the really smart things that Steve did was he didn't just propose these things and say, okay, we're gonna do that. He spent several years getting everybody to buy into it, getting the stakeholders, the people in the community, the businesses, the development community, spent a lot of time through a visioning process, developed a booklet which served as the roadmap for what was going to be done there, got everybody to buy into it, and literally I have 3 books on my desk. I have the Wyandanch Vision Plan, I have the East Farmingdale Vision Plan, and I have the Coping Vision Plan. And all I have to do is take that when someone comes in with a proposal or a project that they want to see implemented in one of those 3 areas, open the book, take a look, does it fit? Did everybody sign off on it? Yup, we're ready to go. Perfect example of Copeg, so the hamlet of Copeg. Train station right in the middle of town. They did a vision plan, great, everybody was involved, Chamber of Commerce, community groups, environmental groups, development. Conifer, nationally recognized builder of residential, multi-res construction, comes in, wants to do 100 and, they came in 150 units at the Copeg train station. You always come in and ask for more, right, Mike?
You don't do that, do you?
Gentlemen, ask for what they need. That's it.
Only ask for what they need.
John Flint.
Actually, you don't ask, you ask for forgiveness later.
Yes, you're right. You do it and then you ask for right. You ask for forgiveness.
Kevin, you don't want to be quoted on that.
You don't need it.
So they come in and they want to do multi-res at Copeg, take out a couple of terrible commercial buildings that have been eyesores right in the heart of the downtown of Copeg. We take the book out, Tony Martinez and I sit down, we work with it, great, this fits, go meet with the community. Meet with the community, I'm telling you, I figured I was going to see the smoke coming out of the Tanner Park Senior Center when we set up. Tony comes back, he goes, everyone's on board. Everyone's on board with 110 units, 4 stories at the Copeg train station. We asked them to take out a little commercial building on the corner, make some green space to it, just like a little something nice in it, make it nice for right at the hamlet and the downtown. We have a Veterans Plaza there, so it just works nicely with. And they're in the initial stages, but this just happened about 2 months ago, and it showed how effective that visioning process was, getting everyone to buy in, having the book, boom, work off of that. Same thing going on in East Farmingdale right now. You know, we're pushing heavy on, and those of you who've been involved in the Regional Economic Development Council, I don't know if anybody sits on it or is involved in it from this group, but pushing the Republic train station reopening, going to the book, back to the vision plan. East Farmingdale's been one of our kind of disjointed areas. They don't feel like they're part of the town of Babylon. They think they're part of Nassau County, they're in Oyster Bay. Nobody loves us. Steve pulls them in, gets them involved, and then they're in a heavy area. The Conklin 110, a very busy area. Those residential neighborhoods are located off of Melville Road and Conklin Street by SUNY Farmingdale and over by Conklin Street going into Nassau County. They bought into a game plan for what we wanted to see done through Airport Plaza, the new Republic train station reopening, and now propose.
What's the prognosis on the train station?
Very good. Well, Helena signed off on it. We're now going, and look, big loss because we had the dialogue with her. She knew Long Island very well. And Steve has already spoken to the new president, I can't even remember his name.
Not a good sign.
Not a good sign, but we're going to have meetings about revisiting what we have already outlined with them. We're making a pitch to the Regional Economic Development Council to get some planning money allocated for the MTA to do the planning for the reopening of the train station. And we just did an RFQ asking for responses from the development community for a master developer for the 110 Conklin area. We don't own much of the property up there, but we are looking for creative ideas on how to redevelop it. We've got Company looking to redevelop 18 acres on the southwest corner of Conklin and 110. They're looking to do a restaurant row there. The Suffolk, what's that?
Is that Acadia?
Acadia, right.
Yeah, right.
So Acadia's been in,
Is that across from Airport Plaza?
across from Airport Plaza. We told them, hold on. We got the county IDA to bring in RPA, the Regional Planning Association, to do a study of the 110 from Amityville Village, which is looking at the redevelopment of the Brunswick Hospital property now,
Oh, good.
to us, which is the driving range is looking to go out, the golf driving range, that's about 15, 16 acres, the Acadia property, and then going north up into Huntington. So RPA is going to come in and work with the Village of Amityville, us, and Town of Huntington to come up with a game plan, and they're already meeting with, and thanks to the IDA, the Suffolk IDA came up with this money to bring in RPA. So we can come up with a game plan before we start doing this kind of jigsaw puzzle-y type development. Let's just at least get and we're meeting with Acadia, they were, we gotta develop, you're slowing us down. We're not slowing you down. We just wanna know what we're doing here, how it's gonna impact everything else going on. Because if you know that stretch now, we've got the hotel there, Tunis's Hotel, which has been great. The state's got an RFP out to redevelop the 56 Fighter Squadron property,
That old restaurant?
the old restaurant bar back on the Republic Airport property. A couple of creative proposals have been spoken about to us from people who are proposing. That deadline's at the end of May for submission to the state DOT. Hopefully it won't take 18 years for them to review it, but we're going to push them because we want to see that redevelop, because we think it could add to what's going on over there. A couple of guys have proposed conference centers, which would make some more availability, places that you can have larger wedding type things or communions and
Watch the planes land.
watch the planes land into you.
We
So,
actually do need a conference center on that corridor.
yes, so,
Yeah.
and we,
You always gotta go to Huntington.
Yes.
you have to go to Huntington,
yes.
so we've said that we'd love to see something like that, and you've got the hotel right there, which is an inexpensive, like a Courtyard Marriott,
Yes.
and another, I forgot the other name of it, but they're right there, that fits well, and then Acadia going north, so take advantage of this, what's all the activity, but making sure we're doing it correctly. So our planning people are involved, and Anne Marie Jones, I don't know if you know her, but she's our planning commissioner. She does a terrific job, as well as Tony Martinez, who's our deputy supervisor. He's taken a good lead on a number of these things. So we're just looking to do the coordination out of there. So that's where we're at. The other part, the other piece to what we're experiencing about Babylon is, we were the hardest hit town from Sandy in terms of number of homes damaged as well as infrastructure damage. We're pretty much recovered on the infrastructure that was damaged. We got most of that repaired as a result of FEMA's help last year, but we're also working now, we met with the governor's people actually yesterday, about approaching this whole buyout and acquisition program. We've got about, I think it's 550 to 600 homes that have been identified for either the acquisition program, which is that the state would acquire the home or the property and rebuild the property, or the buyout, which is the state buys it and leaves it forever wild, clears the property and it remains for a while. If you take a ride just west of here, Montauk Highway West, there's a Kmart shopping center, and there's the Santapog Creek, which we've done major restoration work on. There are properties that front on the Santapog Creek. There's about probably 10 properties, 10 houses. We targeted that area for a buyout because we wanted to further develop that into like a passive recreation area. They got slammed there. The water just came right off the bay, through the creek, and knocked out those houses. A couple of those houses burnt to the ground. We couldn't get at them right there behind the Taco Bell. But that area makes perfect sense to develop some sort of passive recreation on the Santapog Creek. And most of those homeowners are interested in accepting the buyout. They want to.
You really think they really are?
Yep.
It's funny, I've represented some people who have, in this kind of a program, who have talked about it, and the money's there, but then, we want to stay on the shoreline, and they
Yep. We
sort of back
won't,
out
we
the
won't
left.
force anybody to do it, but that group is pretty organized in terms of speaking with one voice, which I was shocked at. Because they're 10 personalities. The one guy's from the American Legion.
Right.
I forgot his name. He always gets me when I go to the American Legion.
I know.
When are they buying my house?
Sounds like he's interested.
He's the coordinator. I don't know if he's running around telling everybody they gotta sell, but he's the coordinator. It's Westlake Drive. It's
I'm on the
called.
front line, I get it all the time.
You get it all, so you know what you're doing, right? But I get that, so we did those types of areas. Village of Lindenhurst got a couple areas down by Chateau Le Maire that could act as passive.
Isn't there some requirement that it has to be next to some already green space or something else?
I think they moved that requirement because we tried Venetian Shores, which is, we've got a town park at Venetian Shores, which is just further west of where I'm referencing Westlake Drive. Venetian Shores, they also got slammed. They're right on the water. We went down to them because we would love to have extended our town park, kind of curved. So Venetian Shores runs all the way south of Montauk, and at the end it curves, and the park sits right on the bay. And Steve did a lot of great work down there. We opened up a new beach hut. We've got volleyball. We did new field. I mean, it's a great place that people go to all summer long. We wanted this, and we've had trouble because parking is terrible. It's just overused. But
It's such a good place.
it's shot through the roof, and so we wanted to extend it. But those people know we're staying, we're rebuilding, we're raising, and you can't argue with them. It's their decision to make, and we wouldn't force them to. But we would have loved to have had that.
How many parks do we have and how many ocean beaches do we have? I don't want everybody to hear this.
Well, we've got 3 ocean beaches. We've got Overlook, which is our town resident only beach. We've got Cedar Beach, and we've got Gilgo Beach. And they just completed the dredging of the inlet and the sand pumping. So Gilgo, if you hear on the news, is usually the one where we're like standing at the parkway and the water is right at the parkway. If you go down there now, beautiful work. Hey, Sal. Beautiful work that they did. The Army Corps did the sand pumping project. Really helped us out, and they helped us out at Cedar and Overlook as well. We've got beach huts down there. We've got classic car nights, volleyball. We've got the largest volleyball tournament league that goes on all summer at Cedar. People coming from all over the island to enjoy that. That's on our ocean side. On our bay side, we've got Venetian Shores and we've got Tanner Park. And both of those, Tanner Park's where we've got our pavilion. So Steve really, again, take a look at the park system. He really brought us to the next level. We've got a great amphitheater over at Tanner Park, great shows all summer, water swimming area, as well as spray park. And at the spray park at Venetian, as well as recreation area. So it's...
One thing I would mention to everyone on the commission is that, Babylon has, as the supervisor's been saying, these parks, but also these spray parks, they're great amenities for the kids. In fact, we actually had talked about doing a little bus tour for some of the other towns here. It was actually right before Sandy hit. We were thinking about it, and so we kind of delayed on that. But I think that's something I'd like to do maybe in the fall, sort of towards the end of the season, because having lived both here and elsewhere in the county, there's no comparison to Babylon when it comes to the parks and amenities and stuff for families. And so I think it would be great.
Steve would love to give you that tour himself. We're very proud of it.
But I think we can get the other towns to see what's possible. Because I think in other places in the county, you just don't have that kind of thing, and the vision here was tremendous.
Yep.
You have the golf course on over there.
Yeah, we've got
Incorporated Village.
we've got a par 3 golf course in the Babylon Village has got a par 3 golf course as well.
A lot of stuff.
Can I trade you for my supervisor? You're saying things that have never been heard in my town.
You would understand.
They didn't have them in the 60s.
And that's why I came back too, by the way. I saw what he did and was really excited about the opportunity to continue that on. And because
Well, to be fair, he continued what you did and took it to another level, and now you're taking...
No, but I'm saying it just really, I fought the garbage wars during the 90s. We had, those of you who know, flow control and the whole issue of whether or not we could realistically support the resource recovery facility and do our own ash disposal. Solid waste is a big part of what you talk about here at the commission constantly. And so the Supreme Court knocks down flow control and says garbage can go wherever it wants. We've got a resource recovery facility. We're self-contained in how we deal with our solid waste, both recycling, disposal, on the garbage side as well as the ash side. And so they knocked the legs out from under us, where literally, if we didn't do what we did by creating a commercial garbage district to guarantee the revenue, our residents would have seen their tax bills go up by 300%. And because we couldn't default on the bonds that were used to pay for that resource recovery facility. And so I spent the better part of 5 years, 6 years probably, going to Washington, lobbying on flow control, being sued by the garbage cars, being threatened by the garbage cars, all sorts of stuff, just to make sure that we had the guaranteed revenue stream to do that. Once we completed that, which was around 2000, I was shot, time to move on. He took over in 2002, and he always says, he laughs about, he says, well, you left us with the financial integrity to be able to do all of this, to build the parks, to improve the road, to do the visioning, thinking, plans for all of these hamlets that we have that are outside our 3 villages. And so now, coming back now is kind of nice to see just where we've come from over the past 15, 20 years. I can't believe I'm saying that.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's also last century.
That's right, last century.
Hard to believe.
But yeah, the tour would be great if you want to set it up.
Yeah,
And I'm telling you, he'd give it to you.
I bet. But I want to.
We can arrange
We'll
for
arrange it with
buses
the
and-
Supervisors Association too. If any of the
Yeah.
town board members from the other towns want to.
Yep. Talk to Anna, and I'm sure we can set up a lunch at the golf course.
Will you be
Now
wearing
it's
bathing trunks to demonstrate your spray? Paul?
No, but I'll bring some little kids who I think will enjoy it.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you, Supervisor. Anyone have other questions? Obviously, very exciting stuff going on here in Babylon, driving obviously the economy of Western Suffolk tremendously. All the between Wine Age Rising and the Route 110 corridor, and a lot of exciting stuff. So appreciate your time. Any other questions or items that people wanted to raise? Supervisor Manning.
What about the sewage coming from Walcott's project? Is that still on board? That's gonna have to run to Babylon?
That would run to Bergen.
But
They've got capacity.
Right here.
that whole project would rest pretty much on you guys if that gets approved tonight, because without that,
And look, we recognize, look, I started my political career here as the county legislator representing this area when this plant didn't work as good as it should have been working, and I worked with the residents who called me every day about the smells and now look, the plant is running well, and we recognize the importance that this plant serves to regional economic development. Because if we talk about, well, no, we don't want the sewage from Walcoff's project, or we don't want Steve's proposed connecting the Ronkonkoma project through Southwest, which makes total sense because our residents are going to get jobs that are going to either be construction jobs or permanent jobs or places to live or go to. If we keep thinking this kind of like very parochial,
not in my backyard.
yeah, not in my backyard. So we recognize, and that's on track because you've got the infrastructure here and they increased the capacity out of here.
And there's a request as part of the request to the state or the feds with regard to this whole South Shore effort to actually increase or obviously the outflow pipe issues
Right.
and other issues.
What is the available growth capacity at the plant?
So right now they run about 40 million a day. And they've got, no?
I think they run about 25 to 26 million a day, don't they? And then the expansion is supposed to go up to about 40 or 47.
Oh, is that it?
So with
Okay,
the
I'm sorry.
expansion.
Yeah, with the expansion.
I'm sorry, that's
But there's
the,
still room,
Yeah.
even without the expansion, there's a little bit of room. And then with the expansion, there
Yep.
would be not a doubling, but like a
Right.
70% increase.
at the height of the storm, this place processed 95 million gallons. at the height of
Which
the
was about as much as you get.
Just,
I
they
thought it was
say,
an inch.
yeah, they say 100 million is like, that's like, DEFCON 5, but this place hit about 95 million.
Thank God.
That guy, and kept
Well, we had the
going.
Bay
Kept
Park
going,
problem.
because
Yeah.
it could have been Bay Park.
And
Yeah, no,
what would
it
have been
could-
worse than Bay
It
Park?
could have been worse than
Because
Big Walk.
the depth here is way shallower.
Mhm.
Oh,
This
so
bay.
that
This
one
would have
was-
been really worse. It wouldn't have had any rid of
Yep.
A lot of the first responders, we were opening the covers and letting the water go because
Right.
we were trying to get it off the street before the houses were
Yep,
flooded.
yep. So yeah, no, that's where the 40, so it's, but the capacity
Yeah,
is
I know my
built in
sewage.
for
County, so we
Wall
turn it to
wall.
you. It's-
Ronkonkoma.
Yes.
Yeah. And Deer Park, North Babylon would be connected.
Yes.
The Calls River and the Connecticut River proposals would go through Southwest. Oakdale, I guess it is.
all the way across under the.
Yep.
So, all right, last question. I know Supervisor has to go. Appreciate your time.
If all of these areas end up connected, how much, in terms of percentage, do you think Babylon's economic activity might increase? I mean, if you talk about all these areas.
Well, you've got Wind Inch now, we've got the sewer line running down Straight Path, which is going, and look, I'm getting inquiries from people like Wilbur Breslin, is calling me about property on Straight Path. I mean, times have changed, right? I mean, Wilbur Breslin, that's off the record, right? I'm like, don't take that down. But I mean, when I get a call like that, that's like very because there's a sewer line running down the road. That's significant. So that speaks for itself as to what. So I couldn't tell you the percentage, but I can tell you that once that is in, that sewer line is working, which is just about. We're just doing final testing with county DPW for the connection. Our leachate connection is working. We're now, because part of Steve's plan was to connect it up Straight Path for the economic opportunities for Wine Inch Rising as well as the other commercial properties, and connect our leachate disposal. So now we're not trucking our leachate from the landfill to here. And again, leachate coming in at the source is much more difficult. It needs to be treated further out in the system. So we're now eliminated that cost, which is saving us about $750 to $1 million a year in trucking costs. And we're now connecting it in. So that's actually working.
And just from a public perspective, I would just as to throw this in there, the meetings, the community meetings, to expand this plan to include North Babylon and Deer Park are one of the few meetings I've ever gone to where everyone there was saying, please give me sewers.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been to out meetings out east and whatnot where they're saying, we don't want sewers here.
No, they're
When you
prime,
come here-
they're teed up for
Oh,
it.
they
I eat
are.
at the Olympic Diner regularly in Deer Park, and I'm asked when are we getting sewers?
Yeah.
When are we getting sewers?
So.
They say some other things too.
Would you say one of your finest, government entities is the IDA?
Absolutely. The Industrial Development Agency is, we have awesome members.
The bad one.
We have awesome Babylon members.
Yeah,
Anything else you'd like to
Very active.
Just put a gold star.
I'm getting a cavity here now.
You told me I could speak
How about
up
those
there.
first responders, Ray? How about those?
But no, thanks for having me today.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate your time, and thank you for your.
And enjoy your tour.
Nothing like a sewer tour on a nice warm day, I guess. Thank you very much.
Really as bad as it
See you.
used to.
See you later. Okay, thank you.
See which. Yeah.
All right, so, again, apologize for being late. It was kind of a little bit of a disastrous hour for me, but thanks, Adrian, for moving things forward. Couple things. We have the sewer tour in about a half hour or so. And so we have a couple things we want to take care of before that time. First being, we have the meeting summary from April. Okay, thank you. Also, if anyone hasn't signed the certificates for Ed and John Whelan, we have those here. Barbara needs to sign Ed's, so that's that. Okay, and no one's done John's.
Oh, no one.
They were. Remember by you. Oh.
All right, so here, Adrian, get that and we close it. So we have the meeting summary from April. Did everyone, if anyone had any comments on that, I had a few quick edits, all typo sort of things. Anyone else have anything else they wanted to add on that? Seeing none, we'll entertain a motion to adopt the April meeting summary as amended. Moved by Mr. Acapella, seconded by Commissioner Sartran. All in favor, please raise your hand. Aye. Any opposed?
John, did you get that?
I'm getting it, yeah.
Okay, that was Ray and Matt. All right, the couple of quick things on the. You voted yes. Couple of quick things. I'll do the chair report quickly, and then we have Sarah has an update, and particularly on the comp plan. We'll spend a few minutes on the comp plan, and then we should be able to finish in time for the tour. So, first off, on the commission, we have the infrastructure Funding, county executives continue to emphasize water quality, and we have the federal Sandy funds that have been applied for, which include improvements, as was mentioned earlier, to this plant. So that's certainly an exciting opportunity. Well, I think we'll find out soon on that, right? A month or so. Thanks to Sarah's leadership, the county won that IBM Smarter Cities Award, and those consultants are coming in June, and Sarah can talk a little bit more about that.
Can I add
Yeah.
to that, would you mind?
Yeah.
I just want people to know also that, you may have read in the paper, but the governor is having 3 task forces on Long Island. But the one in Suffolk County on May 28th, you actually may want to attend, and it has to do with water quality, and a lot of the speakers are going to be talking about the need to expand the Southwest Sewer District and to put sewers in Mastic and Shirley. And it's the plan really that the county has been leading the charge on implementing. So the state has not yet decided on a location, but I'd be happy to let you know when they do. But the one on Monday is for Nassau County. That's going to be from 12 to 4. They're thinking of very long stretches of time. There's another one the Monday after that, which is the 19th, which will be in Stony Brook. And that'll be concentrating on the need for septics and the diversity of septic systems and the need for sewage infrastructure. And then the one on the South Shore, but the unknown location is May 28th. They have not yet decided if they're going to take general public comments, but it's right now, it's invitation only to speak. That might change, but it's not changed as of yet, but I just want people to know that.
Thank you. And the governor's here for the day or something like that?
The governor is not going to be here. The one in Nassau County will be presided over by the DEC commissioner, which is committed to be at all 3 of them. The DEC is heading up the charge on doing these particular forums, and as I understand it, Malone is committed to being at the one on the 28th, and Magano is committed to being at the one on Monday, the 12th in Nassau. I don't know who's going to be at the one in and also the EFC commissioner will be there. New York Rising will be there, and invitations have been extended to both the EPA and HUD.
Certainly, it's exciting to see the governor focusing on water
Yes.
quality. Harry piggybacking on the county executives, focus on water quality. Big question for us is going to be, how to finance some of these things. Sarah did the sewer tour that she mentioned last month. But a lot of interesting stuff. Maybe you can actually put more color on that now, if in a few minutes, if we have a few minutes. But sort of the next step, once we figure out what if hopefully the money's coming from the feds for sort of for the resiliency piece along the South Shore. Hopefully that increases, money can go to a Bergen Point as well. The issue becomes how do we fund those sewers that are needed elsewhere in the county? How do we fund the decentralized systems that are needed primarily on the east end, as Glennis has shown us some great work about where it might be impactful. The question will become financing, and so that's something where the commission certainly has been asked to help lead on that issue, and I think we'll have more clarity on what the targets are there in the next couple months here. On the couple things I just want to point out. A few weeks ago, the Planning Commission co-hosted a breakfast roundtable at East Hampton Town Hall with Supervisor Larry Cantwell and Congressman Tim Bishop, focused on new farmers and the obstacles they're facing. We had about 30 people there or so, maybe 40. Certainly more than we expected. It included farmers, advocates, town and county elected officials. Our Planning Commission member John Whelan was the main organizer of that, and then Barbara Roberts was there, as was Carl Gabrielson, all part of the discussion. A number of good ideas came out of that event, and I think we need to work on figuring out next steps on those. But that was certainly a good get-together. One of the consequences of John doing that, as well as being the leader on that 555 proposal that we came through, that Amagansett proposal for 2 or 3 months ago, is that John became a bit of a star out there in planning circles in East Hampton. He was on the cover of the East Hampton Press several times. And the supervisor did ask him to chair the ZBA, which, as Barbara could probably tell you, particularly out in East Hampton in the East End, is one of the most powerful positions, probably the most important position in the town, other than maybe supervisor. So John was actually nominated to be the chair of the ZBA and was approved, and took over as chair of the ZBA just yesterday. I think it was his first meeting. So as a result, he has to step down from the County Planning Commission, but, so obviously we're sad to lose him, but obviously a great step for him, particularly in terms of being influential in East Hampton and being able to do good things up there. So he is, as I think he wrote in an email to everyone, very much going to miss his time with all of us and hopes to certainly keep in touch. And I'm going to assume he has an open invitation to any lunches at Barbara Roberts' house whenever whenever we have those. So.
He asked me that privately
Did
before
he?
he resigned.
Before he resigned, it was a condition.
Just make sure, I want to make sure the invitation is still open.
That's funny.
Anyone who hasn't been to lunch at Barbara's house needs to be there
I
one of these
ran
times.
into
It was good.
Joe Potter a few weeks ago.
Oh, yeah?
We might go after him to come back.
We'll let
Oh, I
Tina-
did to Hopper, because he's doing some things differently now.
All right. On professional certification, I spoke with Des Ryan this morning. He's pushing it up in Albany. He's talking to Senator Flanagan, trying to figure if we can move this through. If it doesn't move through this year before the end of the session, we'll work on trying to, educate the elected officials this year so that we can get this thing done next year. Everyone who's seen the work that this commission did, particularly Jennifer Casey and John Finn, says this should be a no-brainer. We should do this. The town of Brookhaven wants to do it. The town of Huntington wants to do it. I have to talk to Supervisor Schaefer here in Babel and see if they're interested. But the professional certification for commercial interiors should be a no-brainer. We should be able to get this legislation through. And so, that's where that stands. On housing, something new I wanted to mention to you is we discussed before there's a lack of good housing data in Suffolk County. How many units are being created each year, how many of those are workforce, how many are rental, et cetera. So we're going to work with Libby on coming up with a plan for the County Planning Commission in conjunction with the department to start collecting that data on an annual basis so we can better establish regional housing strategies and goals. And we may need your help in each of your respective towns with that as we go through the summer. So our basic plan is to write a letter to the town planning and building departments, asking for some basic information, which we need to put together like a one-page survey, which we'll do. And I'll circulate that, and Sarah and I will work on that with Mike, Kelly, and Ray. It could be your input as well. We'll circulate that, get some comments back, try to get that out in the letter before the summer. And then probably over the summer, we may need to knock on the doors of the towns and just sort of remind them this is the information we're looking to gather, et cetera. I'm hoping at the next supervisors meeting, I'm going to mention this to the supervisors, and hopefully we'll get their support from the top to put some pressure on their building departments. I don't think this should be controversial. This should be straightforward. The information's out there. It's in some people's hands. It's not in a regional hand that we can, make some regional plans and regional strategies about. So that's an important step. And hopefully we'll have some more information on that in June as to how we're going to, get that moving.
Dave,
Yeah.
can I add something to that?
Yeah.
If you might want to also consider private homes that are rented by the owner, because what we're seeing on the East End is a huge investment in homes for rental. And the Southwold is doing their home plan right now, and some of the stats are really shocking. Where only a third of people own their homes in South Hamlets and stuff like that. So,
Really?
yeah.
Are most of those, how much do they have to get a rental permit? Is there some way that
No.
the town government would know that?
No.
So that may become difficult to get, other than doing a broader
But
survey.
obviously the town got it. They figured it through the
What's that?
residency issues.
Yeah, so I know in Ballin Village, there is some other places.
Southampton, and most of the renters have
Rental
that.
permits.
Yeah.
Okay, because that's at the end of the day what the building department has, right? I mean, when we're asking for information on housing, it's largely going to be what were the new permits issued in the last year, what were they for rental or ownership, and sometimes it's not necessarily known. And I know that if you have a multifamily, sometimes a permit might be issued for the multifamily, may not necessarily say how many units are in it. So we need to work on exactly how we're going to ask the question to get the information that's actually useful. But we can make a note of that and see if there's a way to ask that question as well. So thanks, Liz. Our Economic Development Conference, as you all know, Anthony Mineta, who was the Suffolk IDA Executive Director, who was helping us with this, left his position a few weeks ago. I actually spoke with him today, and he's still eager to get it done. He's still working part-time, and the county executive is very excited about doing this conference, and Joanne Minieri, who's the Commissioner for Economic Development, also would like to see this done as well, and so we're going to do it. It's just a question maybe of getting some more support from a staff perspective, either from the IDA or the county executive's office to get this done. I know Barbara has committed to being helpful and has been helpful already putting the agenda together, and I think there's a lot of people excited about what's possible here. So
there's an awful lot of activity around Brookhaven and Stony Brook there. Can we get them to take any of the leadership? There's a lot.
Yeah, I think we want this to be
Today,
a,
there's a huge conference on Brookhaven and commercialization of all their technology, which we
Right.
hold a lot of people in for.
right, yeah, I think we want to spotlight, and this would be helpful also, Barbara, to sort of make sure we're spotlighting what's happening in Brookhaven, what's happening in Stony Brook. I think we want to make this a county thing.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, and I think the county executive's office, I think will be able to help us with a little bit of, you know, support and just some of that logistical help. But I think we want it to be a county thing so that we can kind of control, you know, sort of what the emphasis is, but certainly including.
It'd be great to have it perhaps in Brookhaven Labs or a little incubator.
Yeah, we talked about doing it at CA because they have some great space there and kind of spotlighting one of those big companies here in Suffolk County.
Yeah.
But we can work on some of those details. On geothermal, I just want to update you guys on that because we had actually planned to have that code before you today. We circulated to some of the key stakeholders about 2 weeks ago. We got comments back from a bunch of the towns. We've been working on incorporating those comments. In fact, I had a call at 10 o'clock last night trying to finalize this document, and in my mind, it wasn't ready to come here. And so I felt like we should just take another couple weeks. We have a commission meeting in 4 weeks, and when it's ready, we'll bring it here. I didn't want to be in a situation where it came to this commission, you know, got behind it, and then there were, you know, other comments or other concerns that were raised. So I want to make sure it's ready to come here, and that's when we'll put it on the agenda. But I'm hoping we're very close, but that's why I had a call at 10 o'clock last night trying to resolve some things, and we weren't able to do it.
Dave?
So, what do you know? Yeah.
Quick question on it. Is it around the edges or is it fundamental?
It's mostly around the edges. There's some definitional things, particularly what should be considered sort of down the mainstream geothermal compared to what's not. It wasn't well articulated in the code as it's written.
Yeah.
And to be able to put that, to work on that in a few hours without actually having to looking at it more closely,
Yeah.
didn't feel right.
There are some other non-conventional geothermal systems. That's the thing you look at.
Exactly.
That was hazy language to me.
Exactly. And I think you'll find, Mike, I think you've noticed this, there are some other hazy language sort of throughout. It just needs a little bit more work. That's what I'm hopeful we'll
I'm
have.
sorry I missed the conference call on Monday.
No worries. I know that there's only so many conference call people can have. Comprehensive plan, we're going to discuss this, now. And our general game plan, as we talked about, AKRF, their consultant finishing up their time in, we can hop to, I'll just set the stage. AKRF is going to finish this, their work at the end of May, I think, and Sarah, you can give us the rest of the details, but our basic plan was farm protection plan, water quality plan, both hopefully finishing over the summer. This commission, along with the department, would then help integrate those final pieces, because AKRF is done at the end of May, so we don't have their resources anymore after a few weeks from now. And then we would layer in sort of an overview chapter to try and tie some of the themes together from the larger piece, as well as the new farm plan and the water quality plan. Then we have the public hearings. This commission, finalizes it. We send it to the legislature. So that's sort of our very rough game plan. I'll just before we hop over to that. As you know, sewer plant tour we're going to do in a few minutes. Also on Friday, the county is doing a fertilizer survey, and Sarah can talk more about that. The bottom line is, if we had every member of the planning commission stop at 2 places in their area, we would make sure that we hit all the 10 towns.
That's a great idea.
And honestly, this place is probably within about 5 minutes of your house. There's got to be 2 places that sell fertilizer. If you could just spend a half hour tops, it'll take you about 2 minutes when you're in there just to look and see if the sign's there. And Sarah can tell you some more information
You
about
have
it.
to do
The signs
that
are
now.
not there.
Okay. Sarah and Adrian can talk about exactly what's needed, but if all of you can on Friday commit to helping, I really think it'll take 20 minutes to hit 2 places.
Lowe's and Home Depot and
Lowe's,
Stony Brook
Home
don't have.
It's not
Depot,
Home
there's
Depot, it's Home Depot.
et cetera.
Does it have to be Friday?
Sarah- I think so, but we can talk about it. 2 last things, guys. The county, Shelter Island has recommended a replacement for Ed Schillenberg, so I think we'll hopefully have that vacancy filled soon. County ethics forms are due May 15th. If you haven't put yours in, they dinged me for not putting the county address as my business address.
Yeah, they did the same
on
thing.
page 1. So I talked to the ethics director. She's new, and she feels like we need to put where the commission is. I said, I think.
What a reminder, we volunteer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and it's on the front page. They dig me the same way.
Okay. So just, if anyone hasn't put it in, this is
Oh,
just
then
fair
I got that
warning.
wrong
Yeah, I
too.
got
This is just fair
charged
warning.
because I was 2 months
They wanted it on
late.
page 2. Are we regulated by anyone? No, we're in an independent
This is a little
body.
frustrating, we
So-
should raise this.
Yeah.
I spoke with the
Tom
director.
Miles is on the,
I spoke with the director. She just said, okay, bottom line is, please ask people to just write the commission address, which is just the H. Lee Dennison Building, Veterans Highway, 4th floor, hop
All
on.
right, I know
100
you
persons
don't
left,
want to
I gave mine as soon as it came out, so I guess I did it
I
right.
thought it
When you
meant my
say ding,
business.
somebody
Place
called you or you got a
business.
letter?
I got a letter back saying mine was incomplete. Did you get the same thing?
I got the same exact thing.
Oh, then I'm
I called her and
gonna
she
And you
said,
sent it back registered also?
You guys don't read.
I was 6 weeks late last year and had to pay $250 fine.
Which is
Wow.
ridiculous.
So you do.
Well,
So
they
anyway-
fined me $1,000, I said no.
Everyone, make sure you get it in, or else they do.
And I lost it. I had called this morning
For
and
your-
they grumbled at me that I lost the form.
Yeah, they're wonderfully supportive.
but if you're an attorney, you only can, you only need to.
Yeah, it's kind of embarrassing that Mike and I are both lawyers and both get that wrong. So now you
No,
probably
we got
nailed
it right.
Yeah. Anyway, bottom line is,
Actually, and you're the Harvard.
well,
Thank you,
goes to
Kevin.
show what that gets. Bottom line, put the address on the first page, don't annoy them, and get it done. Just write H. Lee Dennison. It isn't a big deal, all she did was send back the one page.
Oh,
So,
that's-
it's not a big
that's
deal, but just
nothing.
avoid the pain and just
Okay.
write the H. Lee Dennison building as your business address, because that's your business address for your position here, that's requiring you to file.
Andy, can you make sure?
Well, I think you should ask her to change the business address to commission address.
I did it wrong.
Well,
That would be
it's a form for everyone, so it's like commission as well as like everyone here fills this out. So
That would be
So
the
they put
appropriate
the
question. Maybe she
H.
should-
Lee.
maybe if you started changing the form, my guess is we'd have more problems. So, anyway, bottom line is just write the address as H. Lee Dennison building. That's sufficient.
Okay,
Okay, that was all.
controversy.
Controversy. Okay, so then we want to talk a little bit about the comprehensive plan before we go on the tour.
Yes,
And anything else Sarah wants to know?
sure. First, I want to just acknowledge the great work of our team here, Andy and John. They've been cranking out a lot of reports. The latest report that we have submitted as a draft to HUD is our transfer of development rights study. Once it's final, I'll submit it to the commission for your reading. It's very exciting. So Andy, that's been a 2-year project, 2.5 years. So, and you'll be glad to note, we have billed all of the time for the project.
Particularly the budget office would be happy to do that.
Yes.
Do you get into sewer credits, or is this just TDOs?
We do talk about wastewater credits.
Workforce housing also, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
The whole gamut.
Yep.
Good.
Yep. So maybe at the next commission meeting, we could have Andy give the recommendations that are contained in the report.
Does it tie into the board review?
Yes.
Now Mike will be here.
So,
He loves his stuff anyway.
we're also wrapping up the Comac Road study, the traffic mitigation study as well. That our goal is to get that out mid-month to New York State DOT so that they can review it. And I think we have a project deadline of end of June. So we're working on that as well. Septic tour, we have a 42-page summary of the report. Thank you, Glynis. I know that, Adrian, you've seen it. So if you'd like, I can send that around to everyone on the commission.
I don't know why anyone wouldn't want to read that. Right, Kevin?
You know when to read it too.
Well, no, this is not for Kevin. I want you guys to read and give us a report next month, okay? You're getting homework.
Opinions. Anyway.
What's the quality of them?
2 uses, right?
Okay, moving on.
Electronic. We'll be fine, thank you.
Tomorrow, we have a
Yes.
press conference announcing the Crapshoot Film Festival, which is,
You said that with a straight face, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The interesting thing will be in front of the press with her, so.
right. So we're partnering with the Environmental Protection Agency, Region 2, to piggyback off of their National Septic Week, which is in September, the 3rd week in September. So we're soliciting from all Long Islanders short films on wastewater.
That's the fact that this is a $6,000 grant?
No.
Oh, didn't want it.
No,
The
this
fact that
is,
Sarah is married to a filmmaker has nothing whatsoever to do with
oh, he will not be submitting a film.
maybe a judge.
Right. And he is, we are handing out golden toilets as the prize.
Who could resist such an honor?
Yes. So, and actually, folks who are really interested in this film festival so far are the innovative alternative septic technology companies. They want to use this film festival as a way to promote their products. So I think we had a conference call on Friday, last Friday, where we've released a national request for expressions of interest to have septic companies donate up to 5 systems each, so that we can begin demonstration projects also in the 3rd week in September, which is that National Septic Smart Week. So proposals are due for that, May 16th, and we have 13 companies on the phone with us.
Apply for that?
Does he say,
What?
you're going to put it out tomorrow, you're going to put out whatever the...
The Crapshoot Film Festival?
Would you stop?
Yeah, we've got some guys that might be interested.
Yeah, definitely. Wait, in the technology or the film festival, or both?
Technology point.
Okay.
There's a lot
Body guy.
of people in the Sag Harbor East Hampton Film Festival
All these
who would be
different,
interested in this, Sarah. So
Okay,
have
great.
something
Do you have
to-
connections there?
Oh, absolutely.
Sure. So I'll send out to the entire commission the rules and regs. They were just posted online this afternoon, and I'll show you the snazzy logo that
Where,
Oh, I can't
where,
see that.
where are these going to be shown?
at the Cinema Arts Center in Huntington.
Is there a rating requirement? Does it have to be PG or G or?
It has to be PG. We have all sorts of disclaimers about that.
Don't bring your
As
kids.
part of the law department had a fun time going through the rules and regulations.
I could imagine.
You know, I just want to say for the record, for the future, there is a Cinema Arts Center in Patchogue.
Which has a sewer.
Just mentioning that for future.
It's good to know.
Well, perhaps what we
It's
could
a
do
funny.
is 2
Oh, you
showings.
can do 2 showings, North Shore, South Shore.
East-west, east-west.
Bada bing, bada boom.
J Street in Sag Harbor would be interested in this
Great.
too, Sarah.
So
We should
Adrian
have-
and Barbara, if you can facilitate that, that would be terrific, and we'll do 3 showings that week. 7 days, we'll spread it
I
out.
mean, it's a good week for sewage.
Maybe Spielberg will hold it.
And EPA is thrilled that we're piggybacking off of their Septic Smart Week, which is the
Yes.
2nd annual.
Not many people do, so they are very happy.
Oh, right, no one knows about it.
Oh, they'll know about this one?
Oh, they will.
EPA has money, we may be able to get money for this.
Oh, we're already drafting a request for that. And we are really excited about the RFEI. Great interest, 13 companies interested in donating systems. The next part of it is figuring out where we install these technologies. And that's hopefully what IBM is going to talk to us about. They're coming in June 2nd. They're going to work with us from June 2nd through June 20th. It's on the 2nd floor conference room. So you'll get an invite to the press conference, which will occur on June 2nd. Next thing.
So wait, so Sarah, so at the end, will you or members of the team do a presentation on what they found?
June
Like how-
20th.
Oh, you'll do a presentation on that date?
Yes.
Oh, okay, okay, I didn't realize that, okay.
Yeah, and then they'll do a preliminary presentation, and then a few weeks later, after they leave, they'll do a final presentation. They'll either give us the report or fly back in,
This is the
Okay.
idea.
the IBM people.
That's great.
So I had a conference call with them this morning to review exactly what the deliverables will be. So they're just checking with their team qualifications, and then we'll release that out. But we've seen tremendous interest and support from U.S. Geological Survey, from DEC, from EPA, and local towns to provide data so that we could share and harness IBM's analytical capabilities to process the data.
Now, this just raises an issue, the governor is having these 3 task force.
Yep.
And is supposed to put out a report in June, but it seems it would be wise for him to incorporate what they find into his findings before he puts out any report. So would you mind if I
Yes.
suggested that?
That would be true.
Okay.
So each one of the applicants on the technology side has to donate,
Yes, up to
System.
5, yeah, 1 to 5 systems.
and you're trying to figure out where to use those
Yep.
systems? Commercial or residential, or?
Just residential and not, we're focused on retrofitting existing homes, not on
Oh,
new
really?
construction.
It would be nice if you could combo that with the 72H program.
Right, but you know,
Affordable housing stuff.
right, the issue is, how to begin to address the 209,000 systems right now that are in the ground that are within an area that we've defined as priority areas for upgrades right now. And moving forward, we'll focus on that as well.
If we have people. who
Not
might-
the whole 209,000.
If we have people who might be willing to participate in the pilot, who should we send that to?
Well, we're gonna put out a call, a countywide call. We're still trying to figure out those logistics. So if I could work with you and get some ideas, and if the commission has ideas on, because we don't wanna call for like
Yeah.
10 systems, like, we have 10
100,000 applicants
slots.
for 10.
Yeah. That's a
Well,
lot of
I guess the way
no's.
to do it then really is to define the criteria. What's the
Exactly.
worst, on Glennis's maps, which has like 5 different overlay areas that are all.
Probably it's gonna be shoreline.
Yeah, right on the shore.
Around the shoreline, down to groundwater, less than 10 feet, et cetera. Those 2 characteristics might be it. In areas where we haven't previously identified that will be sewer. or
Yeah, it
hopefully-
is.
Okay, and then on Monday, we have a press conference with Bishop and Balone on the Regional Conservation Partnership application. We are competing for one of 5 designations nationwide to partner with USDA for reducing the nitrogen on the agricultural side of things, to receive funding. So we have support from Nature Conservancy, Farm Bureau, Group for the East End, and
Did we
others.
decide where that's going to be?
No. Not yet. Oh, yes, Wickham Farm.
Oh, really?
I don't know.
Yes.
I just,
At New York Angels last week, Sarah, a company came forth with all sorts of technology coming out with Cornell on reducing nitrogen. I'd love to connect you with this.
Oh, that's
I
great.
think we're going to back them big.
Oh,
And they
great.
want to work on Long Island.
Perfect. Oh, I forgot to mention as part of the request for expressions of interest, the RFEI for septic technologies, so we're looking at piloting these systems that have been approved in other states in residential homes, but we're also looking for the innovative systems that have not been approved in other states to pilot those at county parks facilities. So that, if you use the restroom, there'll be a big sign that talks about that
It says,
technology.
this is an experiment.
Run quickly out of this.
We're not sure it's gonna work, but good luck.
We will be testing what comes out of the pipe.
How appropriate.
Enjoy your pork.
no drugs allowed.
A meeting in the sewer district.
All right,
Okay,
I know that
so,
Andy wanted to, or we can just flash to this, but I think it's
Sure.
before we get to the comp plan, and then what's our timing on the tour? Are they anxious to go?
Yeah, they're ready. I told them we're coming soon.
All right.
It's 3, it's after 3.
Well, we told them 3:15, so now it's 3:20.
Take 2 seconds. I passed out a memo to,
Oh, that, we got it, have it.
yep, and,
Yeah, this is the one page everyone has.
yeah, so I passed out the memo, just responding to Chairman Cologne's request on trying to get some data back to you guys on what we do when you don't see what we're doing. So we try to track the referrals, just so you can see in relation to the economy, in relation to other things, the maximum number of referrals that we've gotten since 2002. We've had some glitches in the
When did we institute the IMA program?
IMA came after 2005 or 6.
Yeah. I think 2008 and 2009 was.
2008, 2009, okay.
Yeah,
So-
Barbara and I were on that.
Right, so it goes back to 2008, 2009. There is a drop in the referrals, and it could be because of the IMAs, it could be because of the recession, it could be because as rollovers in the localities, they forget general municipal law and the county code, but we don't really know. It's hard to put a finger on why the referrals are dipping, but we are reaching out to the localities and working with them and make sure that they understand the referral requirements of the law, or just trying to get a grip on why, why they came down, if it was more than just the recession. Just so you know, we've processed 263 referrals this past April. None of them rose to the level of regional significance. We thought 3 did, but as we dug into them a little bit further, they wound up to be, one was a secret referral, and one was 2 were non-jurisdictions. This MSFF, I'm just killing time anytime you guys want to go, is the secret referral. This is for roughly a 100-acre solar farm. So you will see this as site plan coming up when they're done with the secret process. This is in the town of Brookhaven. You can see the airport.
Is the airport.
It's 100 acres.
I can't remember the name of it.
It's William Floyd there.
Yeah,
So what
it's
is
William
that?
Floyd, and that's not Calabro Airport.
What's there now, Andy?
What's there now?
Is that
It's
disturbed or undisturbed?
no, it's a tree.
It's on our master list.
You're gonna cut the trees down?
Space.
Yes, it's zone light industrial. It's a permitted use in the town of Brookhaven.
missed that.
So they will come in as a as-of-right site plan, and we'll bring it to the commission.
No,
Next
that's
one, John?
different. That was federal.
This one is in the town of Smithtown. This one turned out to be non-jurisdiction. We didn't know that as we started digging in, but then when we went to itemize what the jurisdiction for the commission was, it didn't trigger any jurisdictional requirements. But FYI, this is a proposed sports complex. This is the Prospect Sports Complex. It's on 44.5 acres in the town of Smithtown. They're proposing something similar to what we looked at last month off the LAE, roughly over 100,000 square feet of sports recreational
That's the
complex.
Santilli property?
Yes, I think it is. Yes, I think it
It's
is.
actually not a bad project. It's sand
But
down.
this is just an example of what the commission doesn't see. These are some
Yeah, no, I
large
appreciate it. It's
projects.
interesting just to see.
The next one, John, this is a subdivision in the town of Riverhead. This is
There are no roads.
this is known as Old Orchard at Bating Hollow. It's a major subdivision. They're looking for 27 lots. This is a stipulated settlement in the court, so the yield is locked, and it's on a 50-acre piece. But again, this does not, it's not within 500 feet of a county road. It's not within 500 feet of county land. It's not within a mile of an airport. It does not trigger any of the commission's regional significance. I'm sorry, it doesn't trigger the referral criteria, but it is regionally significant by your standards.
This is good to show us. Thank you for doing that. Because there aren't, I don't think this happens often, that something that's regionally significant according to our standards that isn't on this, but it's good to know when it does, and we can just get a sense of what's happening around the county. So thank you for taking a minute to do that.
I'm a
Yeah.
little, so we're not gonna see these, or we're
We're
going
not.
to see them?
We're
No,
not.
you're not going to see these.
The,
These
do not-
the second two.
So the second two you're not going to see.
Our
The first
legal
one.
requirements are that it has to be, this commission's jurisdiction under the law is 500 feet within of county road, state road, water body.
Shoreline.
Yeah. So what Andy's saying is this meets our regional significance. So it would have come to us if it had met jurisdictional requirements. And I think the vast majority of things that meet our regional significance do by the law come here. This happens that the law says, no, the commission doesn't have jurisdiction, because you can see it's not near any road, or Mushroom Road.
And some of the towns have got maps
But
out
the
there
first
showing where
one
the
will.
jurisdiction is.
That's what I was
From the
trying
solar
to ask,
farm.
Yes.
what I was trying to ask,
I'm sorry.
that's okay. I got a little, so, out of these 3,
Mhm.
I'm not sure what you're saying, that we won't see any of them, or we'll see some of them, but not this
Out
one?
of these 3, you'll see the first one, which is the solar farm
Okay,
in the town of Brookhaven. That was a secret referral that we're looking at internally.
okay.
Commission is a interested agency in secret, so
Okay.
you have no real responsibility other than comments. The other 2, while the towns referred them to us, thinking that we might have jurisdiction,
We don't.
when we started digging into them, we do not have jurisdiction by law.
Yeah, and on secret, we don't usually hear it here because the staff just gives comments back on secret.
On that chart that shows the reduction in referrals, can we, for the next meeting or whatever, do something similar, but showing which towns have the most referrals, whereby maybe it's certain towns that aren't following the rules and sending it over?
That's easy enough to do.
Yeah, that's a
break
good
down
idea.
the equal referrals by town.
Andy, I think a large part of that drop is did we rewrite the rules that we only asked for larger things to be referred, and we eliminated a lot of things not to be referred just around that time?
We did an
the drop?
intermunicipal agreement with, I forget how many towns, 8 towns, I think, a number of villages, which required them to notify us when something triggered the omnibus LD. So they are taking in, for example, a site plan that has an improvement of less than 5,000 square feet. Does not have to be referred to the commission for
Since
review.
I came on the commission, we did change the requirement of what was referred to us, so they were larger projects
No, no,
and a
we
lot of
changed
the
it.
smaller.
I think
ones.
We changed what
You're
you
s-
brought to this table,
Right,
Yeah.
you're just
but not necessarily what
changing.
goes to Andy's and office and everyone else's office. That's by state law. But the state law allows us to enter into intermunicipal agreements to not have to have them bother with that
Right.
step
Right.
for minor stuff, which we defined and entered into IMAs with the municipalities on.
Right.
Well, that was, I think, like it was at 08, 09, that time
Yeah.
period. I guess the question, Andy, is this number include the fact that you might get a letter saying, by the way, we're not sending this to you?
Yes. So there were 2 things that we did. We did the IMAs, and then you don't see the ones that don't trigger your regional
Yep.
significance.
Right, so right, for instance, the 3 that you looked at, they're counted on these numbers, they were referred,
Right.
they didn't meet the various triggers that require them to actually come to the table. All right, so,
Glenn says,
I was just
Alright.
wondering what your recommendations were for the solar farm.
well, we're looking at the referral right now. We don't have, we're looking at clearing restrictions, we're looking at the soils, we're looking at adjacent uses, with the same drill that we did for the one in Brookline.
Are you looking at alternative sites?
We wouldn't be looking for
I-
alternatives.
I didn't.
it's probably sort of listed as a good use, which is better or
I'm
worse.
just saying, there's plenty of sites to build a solar farm that don't have trees.
I don't
It's all
announce
set.
4 sites today.
Yes.
Listen, what I want to do is adjourn the meeting, go do the tour, and then if folks have time to get a brief, Sarah has to
She
go.
never talked about the nitrogen, the fertilizer.
Oh, we need to hear a fertilizer today.
So,
Or you would-
No, that was Sarah's part.
Okay.
so there's, we are assembling teams of folks to go out and assess whether there's signage up in retail establishments. There's a county law
Yes.
passed in 2007, where there has to be a sign up talking about, you could only fertilize between April 1st and October 1st. And it has to be, the sign has to be up 10 feet from the,
Right to sale.
Display.
Yeah.
It's a sign and then also educational material.
yep,
So it has to be either at the point of sale or it could be at the register. Well, no, the point of sale actually means in the aisle
Where
where you
it's-
pick it up and put in your cart. So the signs can either be where the merchandise is, and then they are also required, believe it or not, to have the educational trifold brochures, either at that site or at the register area.
And
So,
what do we do with
yeah, so what's the,
There's no penalty.
what
Yes,
would
there is,
be
it's $1,000.
$1,000 penalty? So,
so.
how can the commission members be helpful?
Sure. So we are putting together a survey. We're adapting the Citizens Campaign for the Environment survey, where we go to folks, and I can distribute that to folks. I forgot to actually bring this stuff with me, but we'll,
Can you email it to us?
yeah, I can email it. But if anyone is interested in picking up signage, because the goal really on Friday is to see assess whether the store is in compliance, and if they're not, provide the signage and the brochures so that they are in compliance, and then go back in a few months and see whether or not they're still in compliance, so that there's follow through.
But has the county, we haven't, past 2007, no real enforcement. Apparently, has the county sent out notices to these shopkeepers?
Yes.
Well, actually,
Yeah.
and I
Every
can answer
year.
it too.
Okay.
Every year the county sends it out, and
Do we
there
get,
was
do we
one,
get a response?
You
Do
send
we
it-
have a required response?
And we send brochures to the stores that request it. We send them a letter saying, this is the law.
This
And
is
if
not
you-
whistleblowing on them, it's more just to like identify if stores don't have it. you know, report back to the county and say, hey, this store near me doesn't have it. And, you know,
I mean, I
hopefully
think
they
it's a
solve
good
the
one,
problem.
is making
So they can
sure.
sell it year-round, but I, the consumer, have to know that if I buy it in March, I can't do it.
No, actually, they're not even supposed to sell it,
Just a little.
They're almost selling now, 'cause it's past April 1st.
yeah, they can sell it now, and they should be, that's why we're looking for
But
the
they
sign.
can't sell it in March?
No, actually, I think they can sell it, but the law is about the application of the material. It's not about the sale.
That's right.
Yeah, so Lowe's will have all of the topsoils and all
Well,
the
and that's
fertilizers in the racks. But again, they're supposed to have a
It's
sign up
making
there.
sure that the homeowner knows.
It's
that
just an
they can't
education
apply.
to the homeowner thing that we need the stores to participate in, that's
So
all.
I would love it if everyone around this table and the other, you know, can just take two, because there's probably two within about 5 miles of your house. Just drive by and just see if they're there.
I just want to say,
And-
when you fill out the form, you,
Well, there you go, you can just pick it, then do
You can
20,
take
right? You be
20.
the all-star.
No, I don't want
Schaefer
to do
gave you a
20.
star, we'll give you 2
No,
stars.
no, I don't want to wear badge.
but you gotta fill out the, you know, look at, make a note where you are, what day you were there. I mean, just fill the form out so they can't
It's
see
a
you weren't there.
one-page thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I'll
all.
send you guys.
And this isn't the enforcement, like, if you see that they don't have it, it's not like that's, like, grounds for them to be fined $1,000. The idea is just that it should be up there. You know.
Well, you could take a picture
Could
and let
you?
us know, and then.
Right.
Is there like a commission on
What's
the
going to happen?
$1,000?
Do you
You guys wanna see
send the forms, or what happens when you receive this?
Yeah, think about that.
I have to confer with the
Then you
health.
can go lower
It's
key
the
to the
health department
galaxy.
that does the enforcement.
Yeah, you would be, what do you think, Don?
So we are enforcing our friends.
And you say I'm
So it's
bad.
not that you will send them the information.
The idea was, the plan initially was, I was supposed to bring the signage today, and I forgot. I apologize.
The county can send out the
Duly noted.
the stuff to them, to
Yes.
those places. If you-
Yeah, we could spend.
By the way, I went to mine near West One and they had it, so I was very happy. So, I mean,
Really?
I guess there's a lot of them that have.
Well, we surveyed, and on the survey that CC did independently a couple of years ago, like, 50% had it, 50% didn't.
So there are, the comp plan, if anyone has any comments, we have to wrap this up on the consultant side, the end of this month. So if you want to review that, goals and strategies, if you have any comments, if you could get back to me in 2 weeks. And if I don't
And
hear
this is
from
the
you,
goals
I
and
assume
strategies,
everything's
right?
fine.
Okay, so we'll pass this out. We got the tour now. I know they want to go on that. Is
Is the
everyone
entire
going?
document available online?
This,
The
yeah,
entire document that's been done so far.
it's not public, so it's not online, but I do know.
Oh, by the way, can we take a motion to adjourn?
Yeah, motion.
By Ray, second by Mike, all in favor? By the way, we're in Riverhead next month, by the way.
We were at.
Yeah, we're going to, Mike,
What is Barbara?
Right, you're right, sorry.
Because I was flying to Toronto that day, so I'm not sure I'm going to be here.
I thought you